that it compels one to be better, to release their better angels. Because going throughout life content is not living your full stature as a human being. Because I think content and discontent is a synthesis, a unity of opposites. How could you know happiness without sadness?
Well, that's
so
what I'm
you
saying.
have to
You're
experience it, right?
You're right. I'm just saying there's just been an imbalance in the chemical release in the brain. So it's made you more prone to release anger rather than going to dopamine, serotonin, your happiness chemicals. You haven't had enough triggers for your happiness chemicals, the chemicals that produce compassion. Now is the time for us to tap into that because we've seen what anger does, just like you've seen what fire does. So now we need to tap into those other elements, which is why I'm saying to make the Panther more human.
That's right. I agree.
And find a way. It doesn't, you get what I'm saying?
I think one of Huey's good quotes that people don't like to quote is the one he said, I think that people don't lead with hate, they lead with love. And the Black Panther is all about love. And that should be emphasized because the only way me and you could get close is through love, through empathy, compassion, sympathy, all that kind of stuff. So I'm down with that, and I think just the whole philosophical thing you're talking about could radicalize this community in a good way, especially young Black women, because if they see someone who's not afraid of their sexuality, who's not afraid to speak truth to power, truth in a room full of men, sexism and all that kind of stuff, and stomp on it, I think that this is a great start, and you're going to have a major impact in this community. I just hope that we can grow together, stay together, and conquer these things as African people.
We will.
All power to the people. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying. I think, and that's where it starts. So that's what I'm saying. We're good, and as far as our association and the Alkaline Xpress and us being family and the community knowing about that, it's just gonna be fun. It's a lot of things that folks have misconstrued about the Panther Party. It's a lot of things that folks are ignorant about with themselves, and now it's just an opportunity to bridge the gap.
Exactly.
I'm cool with that. So
and I think and I told you yesterday, I don't know a lot about holistic living, yoga, chakra, although briefly I studied it in prison, but I'm beginning to understand how it plays a role in my survival as a person that suffered trauma. And so I want to learn that stuff from you. At the same time, I want to be able to teach political theory, pantherism, and all that kind of stuff, so we can be on the same level in terms of understanding that we have a common struggle together. And that, in fact, holistic living is a part of living a life free of racism, a life free of drugs, a life free of imperialism, capitalism. So I'm down with that. I want to learn, and I want to keep on learning.
And I'm excited too because we've talked about it. Like, you can have all these youth around here, and sometimes they go into these other realms, and you get ungrounded. My identity was stolen, so I already know that I can be someone who's very invested in the angels and the this and the that, and then you know what I'm saying. I ain't even got somebody trying to take my name, and so I know that you still need to be grounded. That it's important to know your nationality. That it does something to you to know your heritage. So those elements about being grounded, how the government owns you through papers, and how you need to claim certain things or make sure certain things aren't said about you by doing X, Y, and Z. All of that information, of course, we need to know that. And then I'm just saying, at the same time that these things are happening, all of us are learning about these lifestyles. Somewhere along the lines, none of these systems ever served us, sweetie.
You better believe it. That's right. That's right.
Y'all keep doing that, but we gonna need a whole new system. And so this is the time where we actually start formulating it. So some folks are really focused on making sure that they advocate for themselves. Other folks are focused on making sure that they grab groups of people. And then there are some groups of people who are focused on making sure that there's a whole new train of thought for that mass to hop on. So it's all about just figuring out your intentions or your movement. I am not a part of some of these movements that I just said. I am one of those thinkers that is at the forefront of a new train of thought. I don't, you get, so that's what I mean when I say I don't like being in conversations where we're talking about the same thing. Because you're gonna present your theory on racism, he's gonna present his theory on racism, but we're still gonna be talking, perpetuating 3 hours worth of energy around a topic that we all hate. I practice energy, that ain't gonna work for me. That ain't gonna work. I'm not talking to anybody for 3 hours about something that I hate. What am I doing to my energy field? What am I making for my next 3 hours of steps forward? If this is what I just spent my current doing, now look at how that 3 hour span has just become my life. Because this present moment is a combination of things you used to do in the past. This present moment determines what you're gonna do in the future. And you spend 3 hours talking about racism, you ain't really moved too far in your life. If you talking about something that you don't like. Your present moment is a combination of your past to get you here. And where you are right now is how you're going to move forward into the future. And you spend 3 hours talking about something you hate. You coming from a space that you hate to a space where other people hate the same thing, and y'all going to move forward with hate. That's the type of conferences and, you know what I'm saying, movements and energies that have been spent talking about the stuff that we don't like. We have to really think outside of the box for progressivism. It doesn't really come from eradicating or reversing what's been done when these systems are founded on things that we actually never believed in. So why are we fighting the systems that we never actually practiced? They've been imposed and they didn't work, and we're fighting to talk about how they don't work. We knew that already. We know that. What's the new type of a system? How do you get to an island? How do you buy a town? Well, I don't want to talk about the small issues. So folks that do get, you know what I'm saying, caught up on the smaller issues, I'm with them. I meet them in the middle way. You feel me? I'm calm. I listen. I know, you know what I'm saying? It's more important that you're heard out because you're angry and you feel like you don't matter. Your people don't matter. You feel like you're going to be plucked off soon. You feel like you always got to look over your shoulder. The Most High is for me to just listen to you. For you to know that you got a safe space to put all of that out. That's first.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that people should, be in a cool, calm, and collective mentality when receiving new information. At the same time, I don't think that it's useless to talk about a particular topic if we're looking to resolve the issue that we're talking about. Now, if we're sitting here and engaging in intellectual gymnastics, and then that's a waste of time because we're speaking to the choir, first of all, and two, we just bouncing ideas off of each other. But if we're exchanging ideas to arrive at a point where we could engage in some action, I think sometimes talking 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day would get us at a point where we'll be on the same page. It's a matter of what we're trying to do. And so,
I do. And this is what we're doing. Mental kung fu, intellectual gymnastics. It all makes sense. And what I'm saying is somewhere underneath what people are saying, there is this subtle energy, these understatements, these undertones, this subtle energy. And they're not saying everything. They're not saying nobody in my house ever wants to hear me talk about this. And now I'm finally amongst 3 brothers that do. Watch me take it home. He ain't even in the conversation with you, bruh. Y'all just using the same type words. But y'all not in the same space when it comes to moving on these words. That's mission. So that's what I mean when I say you got false followers. You get what I mean? Because we don't really know who's in the room. So we got to go back to the roots. What do you do behind closed doors? Are you suffering through trauma? How is your trauma being expressed right now? I got rappers that's using the microphone in the masses as their audience to do therapy. where they talking about suicidal thoughts and self-hate and the shit that they don't like about their mother, and that's what we have rappers doing, making millions right now. So it's a whole bunch of people that are out here talking, thinking that they're a part of something, and they making you feel stronger. That's how you get a false prophet. Because they listening, you feel me? And you feeling like because it used to be one person last week when I was spitting my hateful message, now it's 3. I must be getting more important. It must be true. It must be right. That's you. Praising yourself.
Let me ask you this. When you use the word hateful message, what you mean by that?
When it's coming from a space, you personally, not knowing your full intention behind spreading these words. Not knowing how far, where the people in the audience are coming from. You can make people more sick with the stuff that you're feeding them if you don't know what they've already took in. You can make them more sick, even if you feel like what you're saying is the cure, which is why I say start off by listening. Start off with compassion. When you're angry, it's fire and it's red and it's loud, and sometimes it just goes black. So you ain't really seeing the light. You ain't really seeing the thing in front of you that's a being, and that's...
See, I don't see it that way. I think anger does give us clarity. I think anger does give us the ability to be critical. In fact, if you look at the world that we live in today, you talk about these systems, slavery, feudalism, capitalism, colonialism. It was anger that forced our people to fight back against the Ku Klux Klan. You know,
it's not only anger.
No.
It's not only.
No, it's not only anger, but anger.
Imbalance. It's just been an imbalance.
It should be balanced together.
That's all I've been saying. It's only
yeah.
been an imbalance in the expression and the way that the messages have been cultivated. So a lot of the energy that has been casted on you as a collective, as a representative of the party, has been anger. So now we just have to balance out the energy to let them see that the Panther is humane.
That's right.
It's humane. Right. You get what I'm saying? It's standing up for humanity. It's a part of nature. Yeah. It's a part of the cycle of life, the ecosystem that balances out everything. You have to embrace the Panther nature, the Panther side. That is what the plant people, you shouldn't feel me, but I would need the Panthers somewhere along the lines to start to understand what it means to also be a Panther. Yeah. You're a part of nature. You ain't a man, so why are you fighting the systems that man created? You're a part of nature. You are supposed to try to fix the earth, the world. It's not man that you're trying to fix. That ain't even what you are. You're a Panther. Be a Panther. Why are you trying to fix man's world? That ain't your world. And this is what you've been angry about. And somebody just needed to tell you that. Like this. That ain't your world. So that's why it's not hard for you to fix this. We have to create our own, make it our world.
That's right.
It has to embrace the Panther.
That's right.
The Panther has to embrace themselves. You see what I'm saying? And you're a part of nature. The Panther is not a man. The Panther is the Panther. The Panther is the Panther.
Yeah, no, I agree. We do have to embrace nature. Your revolutionaries and other people who stood aloof from the plant people have to embrace them. I don't think that we can win this struggle by neglecting our health, by neglecting our spirit, by neglecting our ability to refurbish ourselves. So I do think that trauma and all these other isms play a part in how our growth is stunted in society. But I think that I look at the world from a dialectical materialist perspective. I see things from a unity of opposites. That means that I try to look at things all-sidedly. Like, I don't just look at one side and say, okay, now I'm ready to make my decision, or I'm ready to write an essay. I try to look at both sides. And so when I hear you speak wonderfully and beautifully of happiness, at the same time, I think it's important that we understand that happiness can't be happiness if we don't speak of sadness and how it relates to that. The same way when we talk about these systems out here, the hateful systems out here, we can't only just talk about those hateful systems without, if we're not supplying an alternative theoretical system we have that the people will embrace, such as, you know, eco climate survival, ending pollution, working with plant people. That's something I want to talk to you about, because the original Black Panther Party, they had a medical facility, and they used to address the ills in the community. And I know a couple of students and doctors that want to develop that same kind of medical mobile on wheels mobile medical facility, and that's stuff that we can set up and do, and we have in common, and it impacts the community. You know, so I just think that at the same time that we give them some happiness, you know, I'm gonna sneak right up behind you and give them a little anger, so we can balance it out.
And that's what I'm saying. And you guys, and it's okay. You just gonna be a little bit more of the example to understand that it's gonna be that you gonna have to tap in to this idea of compassion a lot, because there's a person in the world that exists that likes to pick at wounds, pick at sores. I was a kid like that, so I would get sores and I would keep picking. It would hurt. See the blood, legs be all scarred up, never had cute legs. Like in my life, because of being a little kid, played football, ran in the hood, all these different things. Picked at sores though. Didn't care where it was at, would pick at sores. That is what makes me say, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, because I know for a fact that trauma could be so deeply ingrained in you that you don't even realize that you like picking at your own wounds. It's something that ain't even good, but you just won't even let it go. It's a form of trauma, psychological training, something that you picked up in your environment that you may have thought was okay, but you don't see it because you don't have a wound physically that you could pick at.
That's right.
You got a wound somewhere else. You keep digging at it.
You ever heard Joy DeGruy? Joy Leary?
Yeah.
She wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Okay, that's good. You read that, because that explains eloquently and beautifully some of the symptoms that you talk about around us. You know, the lack of discipline, the lack of striving for education, the lack of adequate housing, the lack of compassion and empathy that we see amongst young people on the street. Joy DeGruy or Joy Leary, she just got a divorce. She relates all of that back to the transatlantic slave trade.
I speak highly of PTSS.
Yeah.
I speak about
I think
PTSS.
that's important. That's important because a lot of times, especially academics, I'm not an academic, nor are you, speak about our issue in a theoretical framework outside of a context. Young guys walk around having their pants sagging, or women at 15 years old or young girls are getting pregnant. They talk about these things, but they don't explain the root. The root goes all the way back to what Joy DeGruy called the post-traumatic slave syndrome, when women, black women like you, cannot even keep your baby. And the baby that you probably gave birth to was not from your man, but from the slave master. And so that in and of itself is a lot of trauma, and it's passed down.
And the same thing goes for the man, to be auctioned off based off of the size of your penis. To have you say, drop your pants, or to have another man pull your pants down, and to be chartered based off of the length of your penis. So when it comes to the ego and lines like this isn't a dick measuring contest. And to be a man that says it to a woman. I'm saying it's different forms of trauma.
That's right.
That people have been expressing, and I'm somebody that can see it. I'm a healer. I'm a healer because I'm a self-healer. That's why I call myself a healer. It's a reminder to myself that I have the power to change everything about my life condition. Everything. And that's a power that was stripped since before slavery. When folks, you see what I'm saying? When folks started to give their energy to an external source as the reason for being, they looked up or into the eyes of somebody else waiting to be told what to do. And then it became called a slave mentality, because you don't know what to do with your day until I give you a task or a chore. Then it became a slave mentality. Before that, there had already been systems that had been teaching folks to give their energy to external sources. And we never came from that. And so folks would have to go a lot further back, which is why I say by the time you're talking about capitalism, segregation, racism, you're at the byproduct of where I'm at with what really occurred and where the problem is. You're at the byproduct of what really occurred. By the time you start talking about slavery and all of these other things, you're at the byproducts of what's been occurring. There's already been an energy, something that was eaten away that would make you susceptible to even have a train of thought like that. What opened up inside of you that made you give way to greed, anger, and foolishness? That is the question that folks need to be asking.
Well, I think the question is simple. It's an easy answer. Greed and violence and murder came.
Before.
Well, no. There was no before. Not the way that we experienced it in the 21st century and the 20th century and in the 14th century where Columbus sailed the ocean looking for India. Balance is a reflection of our oppressors. They have took the African, the same way you speak today. We had sisters back then who were griots. We had brothers that were griots. And the white man would come and snatch them, put them in a boat, take them to Jamaica, which was a seasoning period. They would beat their name out of them. They would beat their culture out of them. They would beat the very fact of being African out of them. And they instilled in them that you were a British, you were a German, you were a French. And that is what we call genocide. We can't look over that part of our history and expect that we can find a solution to our people's problems today, because it was these people that made us angry. When you go back to Africa, Africa didn't have no wars where they would capture each other, cut their heads off, or no, they would take prisoners of war, but they would exchange them for like commodities and stuff like that. It was only when
that's what I'm saying. Say even it's what I mean. Again.
No, but I want you to understand that young black people today are not violent because they have a propensity to be violent. They are violent because our enemies show us every day in the world that violence succeeds. If you look at the media, if you look at rap music, if you look at Donald Trump and what he did. So what I'm saying to you is we have to embrace this reality, at the same time embrace the idea that we need to heal from trauma and all those other things at the same time. It goes together like pancakes and syrup.
They do. It's just that what I'm saying is, again, because you speak highly of embracing the trauma, the anger, the darkness.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm saying you're correct. I don't know if that helps you on the inside to know that you're right, that I agree with you to an extent. I understand. Yes, anger is an important element. It's just like fire. It's just like the color
That's
red.
right. That's right.
The world is not complete without it.
But it needs to be controlled.
Yes, it needs to be balanced. There are other elements. There are other energies to actually tap into. So that's why I'm speaking about this word, energy. There are ways that, so I was talking about byproducts, all the things that are occurring today, the long laundry list of issues that you can give me. When you tell me about them, I listen with my heart open. I understand you. I studied them. You can teach me more in this list right now, and I'm open to a new word coming into my life. It's cool. You only gonna get so far with me as far as how you move me when you talk about racism and segregation and all of the things about the world that you hate. you only gonna get so much time, energy, and effort out of me. I make shit happen.
I got that.
So you only, I'm
point.
saying, if you really want to be a part of like moving things,
make shit happen.
You really got to be progressive. And this energy is what keeps you stagnant. You're about to give me several hundred definitions of stagnant words. Several hundred stagnant words with stagnant definitions. This shit ain't gonna make neither way, no matter how you flip it. They gonna be stagnant for a nigga that's moving. Is it important? Yeah, but much more important than racism is peace. For me, much more important. So I'm a craft.
Roll that back.
Much more important
much
than
more
important than racism is peace.
What do you mean by that? Because
as an idea for me to actually put my energies into speaking to people about, rallying about,
but you know you can't.
About.
This is the thing, comrade sister. You know you can't have peace if you don't get rid of racism.
But I'm saying it's not. Racism being a part of the world is based off of folks not being comfortable with their own identity and casting out that self-hate onto others. For them only wanting to live in a certain type of a community, wanting the world to be homogeneous, looking one type of a way, when the world is heterogeneous. It doesn't just look one type of a way. Some folks got real constituted in that the fact that the world should look one type of way, and it doesn't. That would go against evolution. The very thing that you're doing right now, evolving, that would go against everything. And so folks are angry at evolution. They're angry at this is the progression of life. So I don't want to talk about the byproducts. I would rather talk about progression. You see what I'm saying? I would rather talk about the elements. I would rather talk about nature, the stuff that you actually haven't been able to identify.
But I don't see racism as simply as a byproduct
of slavery. It's a byproduct of slavery.
Exactly.
Right.
There
and
you
I'm
go.
saying
We on the same page.
Slavery
there
is
you go.
a byproduct. Yeah, I got you.
We on the same page.
I'm saying, I'm saying it
because they invented racism to justify our enslavement. I just wanted to be clear on that. Okay.
All of them. That's what I mean. All of them. I got it. So you are justified. So I'm saying I don't know if this is the things that make it different for you to know. I understand you. I'm trying to get you to come to my side, to my way.
Oh, I'm already at your way because I embrace the plant life.
So that's what I'm saying. In the midst of it is this idea of talking about this trauma and how the trauma comes up. Slavery was one of the byproducts of what I'm speaking of. I keep saying the word energy. The words that I brought up to express energy were greed, anger, and foolishness. How did these kings and queens and goddesses get to a point where their hearts, their words, their minds, their actions were susceptible to being called greedy, foolish? Something opened up inside of them. Something occurred. And that is the shit that nobody wants you to know about. It's the unseen and the unknown that nobody wants you to know about. So I don't want to talk about what you already see that you hate, that's going on, that's bringing you down. I want to talk about the energy that's imbalanced in the world, the
that
unknown.
Makes you a full human being.
Right, because I'm human and I've lived in this world and I've seen what it's done. I need to balance out the unknown energy about what humans do in this world, what I'm capable of in this world. I need folks that are tapping into the unknown energy, the energies that are in balance in this lifetime. If you got a lot of anger, you cool. I'll call you for a ride. You got a lot of this. You only got a certain time that you get called on for stuff. I need somebody that got both because you're expressing balance. You can teeter-totter. You can go toe-to-toe with the best of them. You know how to switch a whole bunch of hats. You don't just get disappointed, then mad, then angry, then irate. You was a mad, angry motherfucker. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to get in a conversation with you. You only got one mode of operation.
Yeah, that's not good.
So that's why I'm saying to balance it out and to really see that the reason why it'd be hard for people to balance out trauma and opening up their heart is because they probably got a tendency to pick at wounds. But they probably went to college and got degrees and been paid for that shit for so long. They think they smart. They think they right. They think that this is a theory and that this should be taught and put in textbooks. No, I'm telling you, somebody needed to be birthed in this world and say it, and they needed to know, damn, I'm not alone. And then you come We all start to come together because we were that one in our family who was thinking different. Yeah. We were feeling some type of way about what was going on, but all of the ways that we seen people acting, they ain't work. So we really gotta be on some new shit. This is gonna be a whole different type. The involution will be televised because folks only been focused on the revolution, thinking that it was external. When you change, no, changes are internal. The involution, it will be televised. You want to watch me change publicly because I'm not just going to do it for me and my little small group of race or whatever. I'm going to do it for the world. I'm going to do it for Earth because there are other planets with other beings that we're supposed to be communicating with or under attack of one day. So we need to figure out how to bring the cosmos together. This shit is bigger than Democrat, politician, North, South Ward, West Ward. None of that shit. These are all of what small-minded man, he just put these words together and said that that's what it was. Small-minded man.
Yeah, we got a saying in the movement that the fish of the water makes hardly a noise, but the whale comes through and make a big splash. You know, and I think a lot of times men likes to make a big splash and focus on small things that reinforce and reinvigorate their egos, our egos, that reinforce our false sense of manhood and stuff like that. You know, so I agree, small-mindedness, that thinking that it's only about me and mine's contributed and still are contributing to our misery today. So I think that trauma and understanding that there's a saying in Africa, and the quote is, I am we. Now, how did we get to the point where you and I understand in the deepness of our DNA, the deepness of our being, that we are related? And I think the best way we could get there is do what you said. Do some practicing rather than sitting down and talking about stuff. Put some boots on the ground. Because the best way to really grow to love someone is to struggle with them in adversity. Not when everything is nice and, you know, we always hugging and kissing, you know, but we go through an argument. Let's see what happens after the end of the argument. Or let's say we encounter some contradictions on the street that make us feel like we can't win. We're demoralized. That's when we get to test, you know, our fortitude.
You have been practicing it.
Yeah.
So this is where you're speaking about things. I just put it in terms of a spiritual, celestial, energetic lens. What you just spoke about was black on black violence. When it happens like that, we are at an extreme state of practicing on each other what we were perceiving to be done to the enemy, because we're family. So that's what I mean. That's how sick. We got to untangle a lot of that sickness. We family. So just like you said, we go through an argument. We go through an argument. That's what make us family. Now in that extreme state, I take your life. That's our argument. That's our negative experience. I beat you up. I steal from you. I pistol whip you. I rob you. That is the version of us having an argument. We family. We gonna get over this one at an extreme state. At an extreme state. So we would have to present new ways of thinking. That shit don't even work. Because now I'm showing you how, just like what you said, we family. So that's how black on black crime still exists. In any degree, minor or major, however you want to describe it. Domestic violence to a couple arguing. You see what I'm saying? Friends going back and forth. Business partners stealing money from each other. These are all forms of family members going through a moment and not knowing how to do it. So that shows you we don't know how to be related to other people. So first we need to start with relating to ourselves.
That's right.
So this is what I'm saying, before putting out the energy, you need to do this and we gonna be here. Let's all organize to get here. Motherfuckers can't even get up on time. Don't even be wearing clean socks. But that be the person that be leading the march. Yo, that's what I be talking about. Don't even be having on clean drawers. You get what I'm saying? And then be sitting here saying, follow me. And you gotta watch their ass. It It don't even work. And so sometimes you gotta know people behind closed doors, they full practices. So you will get somebody in a conversation and they only with you because they fired up. You need people, that's how they flow. This is what they about. Moment to moment. You don't need people that have faith like fire. When you say it, they feel it. Ooh, I'm charged up. I'm with it. Ooh, I'm with it. And then you leave, and so do the spark, the flame, the motivation, the phone calls, the repost, everything. That's faith like fire. And a lot of the followers that energy, like followers that folks get when they have that fiery energy are people that can just be dudded out. So they get plucked off because you could just be done. It's very easy. You're nothing anymore. You're nothing. It's easy to make you nothing.
Yeah.
Because you could be dudded out. You a low ass flame, but water, it corrodes, erodes, tsunamis. You got a whole bunch of things that water do. Flow. The flow of life. Wind, moving shit. It don't, and you get what I'm saying? It's different forms,
but also
different
we
elements.
could build a dam to stop the water too.
And that's what I'm saying. Different elements. You gotta use them elements. You can't just use one in order to build a world. You gotta use all your elements.
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
And all your elements is inside of you. And so if we could get the Panther to see the stars, the moon, the sun, everything is inside of the Panther, being more universal in its nature.
That's right.
That will have the universe be more accepting of what it is.
Yeah.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's my high school mascot happened to be the Panther. So I know universally, like it was ingrained, and I founded that high school in 2011. You get what I'm saying? So I know somewhere along the lines, like this is how it was supposed to be. Like no embracing the Panther nature. You get what I'm saying? So I always wore always a proud Panther.
That's
Since
what I'm
high
talking
school.
about.
So this one, so as far as embracing the other side, this is the shit that we didn't embrace yet, which was nature. This is the stuff that we were shunned away from. This is why we wear shoes. This is why we're unconnected. Which is why women are seen like, you know, before they cycle, when they ovulate, you know, they all sexy, you want to have sex, and then she get on her cycle, and then, you know, oh, you on your cycle, it's a big thing, and oh, I know you bleeding, and, but you was just all over me a week ago, and now a week later, you like, oh, let me stay away from you because I don't want to. No, you fight through that too. So the structures of relationships already been broken down, and then you want to lead a group of people? Go sit your ass down and work on your relationship with yourself. You get your home. Like, that's your temple. And you don't even know how to embrace her.
Yeah, but I think that, remember we talked about earlier, looking at things all-sidedly. I think that because a person may be a failure in a relationship, doesn't mean that it disqualifies them from being a leader amongst the people, because relationships are transient. Me and you, we could be in each other's lives for 5 seconds, for 5 months, or for 5 years. At the end of the day, we're going to be able to say you left the impact, whether it was bad or good. It's the same thing when we measure relationships, individual relationships, from a sociological point of view. You know, you have individuals that are just horrible. Like me, I was horrible at a criminal. And I ran up and down these streets in 1999, 1998. 1999 was my best year. I had 3 cars right there on 16th Ave. You know, with Maul and Ishmael, Al-Shamil and all of them. You know, but I was horrible. I got 50 years for that shit. But there's the point I'm making to you. But I'm wonderful and beautiful at fighting for freedom.
I'm saying, it's fine. And this is what I'm saying. I'm cool. There's a whole, what you just said, there's a whole bunch of checkerboard people in my life. Yeah. You good here, not good there. Good here, not
exactly.
good. I need a full picture. I need a full layout. I need somebody with the full package, the full scope. That's holistic. When you complete in all of these ways, because the relationship doesn't matter if it's intimate or business. You the same one part of the relationship. You're a part of the relationship. You have those same mindsets, ways of thinking, no matter where you go. You're the same you. So it doesn't matter if you walk into that space as a stranger. That's a form of a relationship. You're a stranger in that space. It doesn't, if you're intimate, you still think the same way about people when they disrespect you, no matter if they're your family or your coworkers. This shit just ain't gonna fly. Yeah. You the same person. So when it comes to being a leader, yeah, you might be a leader of one, of a smaller group. Yeah. You're not gonna lead the masses. You a checkerboard. You spotted. We need clear, full.
See, that's what I don't
complete.
understand. See, that's where I'm stuck at, because
the royal you, and I'm not saying
no, not me. I'm talking about because, like, my constituency is poor people, is prisoners. They're poor. They have been neglected. They're at the bottom of the economic system. And some of these cats, there's some shootings. Some of these cats sold millions of dollars of drugs. Now, when they come home and they transform their criminal thinking into a revolutionary thinking, I think that they are full in the sense that they are no longer contributing to the demise of their community. Our definition of what
they did one side. They're not contributing to demise anymore. So then how are they working towards peace?
Well, they work because they may be out there talking to people in the community, gang members in the community.
But I'm saying, see how so this is, I'm now stepping back, like now looking at your train of thought from that big lens again, like I was saying, is focusing in again. This is one part of the way that I'm seeing about how you process. It's still we're having this high emphasis on one type of a life, like that anger, that darker side of me.
No, I'm an organizer.
When you said that they was out of prison, and I was like, all right, so then what is the other thing that they do? It's when you know what I'm saying, like that balance. I could like
but revolutionaries are balanced. Freedom fighters are balanced. How you think Nelson Mandela survived 27 years in a South African prison when they were literally under the white man's thumb? He had a balanced assessment of the world.
And that's what I'm saying. If he was angry and he would have been killed.
Exactly,
he stayed in prison. He stayed in prison because of the other Africans that were also in prison. He said, I'm not gonna come out until they come out. And then that's when he got out.
Well, that's the latter part.
And this is what I'm saying.
In the beginning.
Right.
That was in the 90s.
Exactly. And so we're getting to the point where he welcomed other Africans who had been banned and exiled from Africa back home, like Mama Africa. Welcoming these artists back home, he had to tap into compassion. When he got to the point of
I'm not saying no. See,
affected me. Well, I'm talking about to affect me.
So let me ask you, do you think Martin Luther King was an angry man?
I don't know.
He was arrested 39 times.
I don't know. All
right, so put it this way. When Martin went to Chicago in 1966 to live in the urban area because most of his struggle was in the South, so he wasn't familiar with the urban terrain. And they called the march in Cicero. Cicero was where the Klan was based at in Illinois. And don't you know those white people hit him with bottles? You know the history. Spit at him. And they asked Martin Luther King, you go and get it. They said, well, he said, I am angry. But we must temper our anger with love. So what I'm saying to you is that we can't separate anger as a locomotive of change if it's organized and coupled with discipline.
I thought you was gonna say love. Damn, I thought you was gonna say the other side of the word. It was two main ideas. Yeah. See, and you ain't even jump back on your other idea. I'm there, went back into the more denser, like the more energies. And I'm saying, where's the softer side?
Our enemies turn. Let me tell you something, sister. Our enemies turn. Most black revolutionaries, our hearts are as cold as the North Pole. But these young brothers out here, their hearts are as cold as the North Pole because they have been given miseducation. But we have changed our way of thinking, and now we out here trying to help these young people. But you need anger to do that.
I'm saying, see again, I'm saying in order for us to actually Only because we would go back to this anger. I've already stated, yes, that anger is a part of the equation.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that there also needs to be compassion now.
That's right,
If your
that's
party
right.
has been predominantly represented by anger, and this is as far as you've gotten, then there needs to be something else represented in your equation. And I'm saying that the X factor is going to be compassion as it comes to being a part with the plant people. Because we know about how important it is for things to work harmoniously in order for shit to grow.
That's right.
Plants don't just spring up out of nowhere. Elements, roots, water, the sun, it all has to come together. Bees, they fly, they put the seeds, they put things, they pollen inside of their legs. And then they go suck on the flower and they lay the pollen down in the flower. Flowers don't actually make flowers with each other by sex. They stand still. So elements, they come together. Things have to be able to move beyond what they're going through in order for this world to even be, for you to even go out and do a damn march. Which is why I'm saying we really got to tap into compassion. Because the panther is a part of nature. There are other elements. It's not just the panther alone. There are other things that make the panther complete.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. The 80 programs that the 60 to 80 programs that the original Black Panther Party had was based on love.
I meant the panther in nature though. I was talking about the panther in nature.
Yeah.
There's other stuff that makes
No, I agree. I think love is a compelling force for change.
And you need it more. And I think that's what I'm saying. Coming to the point where you get that. You get that, because I got anger. I'm here. I'm human. I've been a part of that. I see that. Cool. Got it. Boom. So have another conversation with me about, you know what I'm saying, how to get out of it as a youth. I don't want to, I'm saying, so for me, when I have conversations, and the best way for me as just one individual in the room, whenever somebody's presenting stuff, and it's like, okay, so who's ready to sign up now? For me, to be on board. You feel me? These are some of the things that I need in order to be comfortable standing next to someone. I'm not gonna stand behind you. I want to be on the front line with you. So I want to be 100% clear on what you mean. I want to sign on the dotted line with you. You're not alone. And in order to do that, that shit takes compassion. I can't be angry that your name is first before mine. I can't be on my lowest self that, damn, you spelled my name wrong. You forgot to include me. Oh, I'm a part of the rest of them. No, when you more focused on one side of energy. And in the conversation, your main energy, you spoke about anger. And I just introduced compassion as another way of dealing with the bum in the hallway that you don't want to see because you live somewhere and you struggle to get there, and now you made it, and now somebody fucking it up. And so what's going to happen? Somebody just keep calling the police on that person, and then there's another neighbor that's like, I had an uncle like that. Compassion. That right there is the definition of compassion. And more people have it, but they don't know what it's called, and they need to know what it's called so that it can be amplified in their life, so that they can open up their heart. That's all that I'm saying.
No, I agree. I definitely think that we need to have less police influence in our lives. We need to have more compassion. I think that's what compels a lot of freedom fighters around the world, is this sense that everything that I do, every energy that I give to this struggle is because I love the people that I'm struggling with.
Right.
You know,
you just need to say that. Y'all just need to have people know that that's what it is.
Well, people know that.
now we know that as the people here. And we the people can start to say that on behalf of the pens, because we have one of you guys that is coming around to seeing it. Like, it's going to be a uphill battle. Uphill, though. Not getting stuck at any of these byproducts. It's going to be uphill because it consists of compassion. It has compassion. We all fired up. Now we going to know how to work the rest of these elements, too, because you're fucking with the plant people. So you're going to learn how to bend bullets, too. So we not just talking about violence. We're talking about bigger things, breathing underwater. There's bigger things going on than just looking over your shoulder all the time and having conversations and rallies and shit about that. Nigga, lift up off the ground right now. Off your feet. Off the ground right now. You ain't got no special powers. You got people following you, can't even fight. They can't even defend themselves. They only feel strong because you with them. You die, movement done up. That's the type of false followers, false prophets, false energy. That's what I mean. We gotta tap into some real things that get people to open up their heart. Cause then that gets you to lay your fucking life down. Once your heart is open, you put your heart in it. Without your heart, you have no life.
That's right.
So without this mission, I am not living. You need followers like that. You don't need fired up, angry ass people. They can get dudded out. Matter of fact, them the niggas you want to pluck off. Cause they always bang in your ear. You don't even want that energy around you.
Yeah.
And you feel me? So that's the type of stuff that has happened.
Yeah.
The deaths of major leaders and the things and the dismemberment of the movements. That's the spaces that it's coming from, and that's why I want you to
what
tap.
do you mean? This it's coming from anger?
It's coming from these other energies, not knowing the full scope of what you actually represent.
No, I got you. Okay, because I thought you said the killing of our leaders.
When with this,
they was killed by a racist system.
Just what I'm saying. With them not being able to actually know the full scope.
No, they knew. They knew. Marcus Garvey knew. Yeah, these was compassionate leaders.
I'm talking about the government knowing about the levels of compassion.
The government don't care about compassion.
Right, just what I'm saying. And so they reframed your message. They got in front of it.
That's right.
And so now you in the space where I say, okay, baby, they fucked your okay. They boo got it. Okay. We got it. We gonna get it right this time, okay? I ain't gonna say trust me. Don't trust a nigga that say trust them. I ain't gonna say that. Just watch me get your message right. But you gotta talk to me first. I'm telling you the way that we gonna reframe the message and get people in front of it. All ages, sizes, and creeds and walks of life is actually to open up your heart. You get what I'm saying? And we gotta talk. I gotta know about the trauma of a black man. I gotta know about what you've been going through. You can't just tell me to go pass out these flyers. I'm not a slave, so I'm not gonna do what you say without a reason, without a rhyme, without a move, without rhythm in my body. I ain't gonna do it. So you gotta open up to me. I gotta feel you without you touching me. So you gotta open up. I gotta sense you. I gotta know you alive. I'm alive. I'm beating. I eat plants. I don't eat dead shit. I'm alive, so I'm vibrant. I can feel living energy around me.
Oh, power to the people.
You want little babies, 3, 4, 5, 15, 25, 60. You want energy like that. Their faces is bright. Faces like, what is going on? You just don't even want to talk. You need bright, happy. They need to embrace this skin, this black. What does it mean? And so focusing the same amount of energy that you've been putting in the past on them and they and him and the man in them. How about on us? Me. When is Black Breastfeeding Month? That's in August. When is Women History Month? That's in March. You see what I'm saying? When is Juneteenth? When are we actually rallying and doing and reverencing around these types of ideas? When are we teaching mothers about how you can save your breast milk for over 3-5 years? When we talking about coming back to it, the nutrients inside of it? When are we actually teaching these people that you matter in and of yourself? When milk does and all of these things get informed in you. When you telling these young men, you know you was a woman for 6 months, the last 3 months of your life before you came out, you decided to be a boy. You was confused your whole life before you came here. You don't know. When you actually sit people down with the science and take them through the philosophy of what they just don't know about themselves, it's going to be a less of talking about them, they, him, and them, and the man in them. So let's talk about us. Let's talk about me. Let's talk about you. And when you get little kids leading conversations about me, my gifts, what I want to do,
that's important.
It reverberates to the leaders. But right now, you got leaders that can't wait to wear leather and black and just be outside and run away from the kid crying with the woman. No, that is exactly what's happening. They still doing it to you. You just don't see it. It's another form of breaking down the system. The black family system, you just don't see it because you're so fired up. You just want to go to war. You just don't even see it.
Well, we need warriors, sister. I don't know.
It's the balance. It's the balance. I'm saying y'all always left. Y'all always left.
No, let me say this, sister. Let me say this, sister. We live in a mean, deleterious, vicious world where people will eat you alive. You can sit there all day and talk about peace. But when it comes to controlling resources, platinum, gold, diamonds, controlling these planes in the air, controlling technology that keep these Western societies up and running. They don't want to hear love. So how can we, who are the victims of all of this technology, fight back against that? We fight back against that by creating warriors.
So no, this is
freedom
what I'm saying.
fighters.
Energy. You got basic fundamentals of life, and I'm telling you that folks who call themselves leaders have mostly been ignorant to the fundamentals of life. And the fundamentals of life, I'm talking about those things that you had just started studying. The energy centers, the chakras, these things, these feelings, light codes, how do air and water and being dehydrated make you be more anxious and on edge at the same time that somebody's calling a meeting? You're not even really invested. Your ass is dehydrated. So you just low on energy. Low on energy, and somebody's hitting you with some angry shit. Let me go there. You got false followers along the lines.
I think both go together.
I'm saying, but the epitome of what I'm getting at is the building blocks. There's ignorance about the building blocks. I'm not an academic because I'm an alchemist, and that's the reason why. Because I know about the elixir, the energies, the builders of life for sustenance. I know how to get folks to see that they're a healer from working through my own life.
You know what, sister? And I gotta be absolutely real with you. This philosophy right here is useful for individuals to change themselves. But out in the world right now, we don't have time to worry about that.
Changing yourself?
No. That's what I'm saying. It's self-care, transforming your trauma and all that kind of stuff. We need that. But we also need people who can go out into the world to get us the things that will make us free and independent as a people.
In order.
And that takes muscles and brains.
It's a process. When that brain, if it's checkered, if it has holes in it, it's leaky.
Yeah.
It's not fully functioning. These brains that you speak so highly of only function at only even near 10%. So you ain't even talking about people that tapped in to their fullest potential again, which is why I'm saying come back to the foundational building blocks of life. We speaking highly of niggas that only tapped into less than 10% of their brain. So they didn't bring the left and the right side together, the creative and the logical. They only tapped into the one side of science. They didn't go back to nature. How do we
bring it together?
This is what we doing right. I'm explaining. Right now, we've only been seeing the Western world and the Western way that things have been going. We have to study the Eastern way that things go. Right now, we look at the physical world. We have to study the metaphysical world as well. You say that you believe in duality and dichotomous living. Seeing the way that opposites come together and live in tandem, right? So this is what I'm saying. You showed me one side of energy very highly of how it affects you. Now we have to bring it in tandem with its opposite but equal force. Hi, here I am.
No, I agree.
And so
but you are aware that our scholars and our intellectuals have been teaching from the Eastern world. If you go to John Henry Clark, Ivan Van Sertima, you go to...
I want to go to Brother Shaka Zulu.
No. The point I'm trying to make to you, sister, is that we have been studying the philosophies of the East. I have studied all the philosophies of the East. I even studied Buddha before he migrated out of Africa and went to Asia. Tony Brown has a book out where he talks about our people have to center our worldview on the East, but that doesn't mean we have to neglect the advantages of the West. The West gave us technology. We have to use that to advance the struggle. Oh, pal, that's the brother that was down Trenton with me? Oh, power to the people, great comrade.